So the first verse, scary when I get too loud, silenced when I don't speak out, suggestive when I choose to smile, sensitive when I choose to cry. That is basically a woman's everyday. People say that when, especially a black woman, when a black woman, decides to stand up for herself and speak, they call us, scary, the crazy black woman type of thing. They label a woman who knows what they want and how they want it, and a woman who is able to express that, they label them as, the B word. But a man who does exactly the same, who walks into a room and says, I want this in this way, and I want it to be done in this time, they call him a boss. But women are called, a bitch. And so that was sort of speaking to that beginning verse. Why is it that women can do exactly the same and act exactly the same as a man, but we are labeled as something way more negative than a man is? The second half of the first verse goes, suggestive when I choose to smile and sensitive when I choose to cry. It's speaking to the fact that whatever our emotions, whatever we're trying to express at any given time, it is taken negatively. Like a negative connotation is extracted from it, and I don't understand why as a woman. Until today, it's me speaking to you right now. I don't get why. When we want to cry, we're told that we're sensitive, but when we smile, we're told that we're suggestive. Like, why are you smiling too much? You gave that man or you gave that person a reason to come over and do XYZ or say XYZ. Like my dress, my choice, Me Too movement. All of that is sort of compounded in those two lines. And I feel like many women will definitely understand what I'm saying, because many of us go through that.
They try to tell me, miss, you're in a mood. Correction, I am a mood.
I was watching an episode of Dear White People on Netflix. Really good series, by the way. And in one of the last seasons, two of the characters are talking, the two black women, and then one of them says to the other, something like, oh girl, you're in a mood, and then she goes, bitch, I am a whole mood. So that's where that particular lyric, sort of the genesis of it came from. I was like, that is such a good line, man. People should not tell me that I'm in a mood, because obviously as a woman, people are always like, oh, you're so moody, are you on your period? Things like that, just things that are unnecessary. When we're trying to express ourselves, there's always a reason why, we're being too much, or we're speaking too aggressively, or we're being dramatic, these kinds of things.
Wanijua, wanisikia, maanake ninajijua.
Wanijua, wanisikia. That's something that Swahili people say a lot in Mombasa. It's a very common line in Mombasa, like, hey, wanijua, wanisikia, to basically mean that it seems like you don't understand who I really am. It's like you've heard about me, but you don't really know who I am. So that's where that came from as well. Just a homage to Mombasa, my hometown.
I was told I couldn't run, so now I fly. Told I shouldn't argue, but my spirit fights. Told I couldn't drive, now I'm flown. Told I'd never work again, look at all I've done.
Verse 2 have many lines, okay, that I wanted to make sure that I'm delivering them in a way that many types of people can relate to. Okay, that's generally the goal of any artist, I think, to make sure that they're writing in such a way that many people see themselves in the song, like I've said. So I was told I couldn't run, so now I fly. Of course, speaking directly to Agnes Tirop, but also other female athletes who maybe when they were young, they were told girls don't participate in sports. That's something that's for boys. You're supposed to be in the kitchen. You're supposed to be, doing chores, cleaning, washing dishes, washing clothes. That's what a girl should do. Be a girl, don't be a boy. So that's the first line. And then also because I'm somebody who was really into sports when I was younger, all through until uni, when my eyesight was deteriorating way more, and so I had to stop. So I was told that I couldn't run anymore. And so I spin it around and say, but now I fly. Told I couldn't argue, but my spirit fights. Another thing that women will definitely understand. Women are told, sit pretty, be seen, but don't be heard. Those are the kind of comments that women are told. And we're taught it as well by our own, family, our grandmothers, our aunties, the women in our community. We actually sat down and told when we're younger, this is what girls do, this is what girls don't do. Don't be a woman who is, to this or to that. Just be someone who's polite. Don't speak too much. Don't be, too outgoing, because men will, see that as a threat on their role as a man, etc. So
told I couldn't drive.
I was told I couldn't drive. Now I'm flown. That was something that I was told by my doctor. They said, of course, eventually, because you're going to go blind, and so you're going to have to stop many of the things that you enjoy doing, one of them being driving. I've got a driver's license. Still, I have it somewhere. It's a heavy commercial driving license. So I was actually in class for, trucks, trailers, buses. I drove all those things when I was younger, getting my license. And so I've got that heavy commercial driver's license, and it just sits somewhere. It's collecting dust somewhere. And at the time as well, I remember going to lessons with my gypsy skirt and climbing this massive truck, and the man would be like, sorry, I'm waiting for my student, and I'll be like, yeah, that's me, hi. And jumping in with my skirt and the flower in my hair, blah blah blah, just roar, and this massive steering wheel. It was really funny. But so eventually I was told that I couldn't drive anymore. At some point I'd have to stop, and that was speaking to that particular line. And also because women in historically have been told, you can't drive, you can't vote, you can't work, that's actually in that line as well. Told I'd never work again, look at all I've done. That is women in general, okay? Me as well in that line. I've been told as well that I will never work again in media. I was told, okay, you studied, film and theater, but because of your eyesight, you're not going to be able to do that. Women as well are always told, after you have a child, after you get married, after you have, you go through a divorce, these kinds of things, just expect that you'll not be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things anymore. You'll be able to work in this industry, or you'll be able to achieve in this way. That was in that line.
Told I should sit down, so I'll take my throne.
Told I should sit down, now I take my throne is basically about, be quiet, sit pretty. You just sit down. Madam, please sit down. You'll be told when to speak. That's what it's about. So I turned it around and said, okay, cool. Well, if I'm being told to sit down, then I'll use my seat and think of it as a throne, because I am a queen, I am royalty, I am a big deal, basically.
Told people like me don't stand, now we're twice as tall.
Told people like me don't stand, now we're twice as tall. Of course, it was something that came from Burna Boy's album title, Twice as Tall. The previous line was being told that I should sit down, and so in contrast, I've also been told people like me don't stand, as in people with disabilities. Literally, people think that we can't stand up for ourselves, we can't speak for ourselves. I mean, to the smallest of things, like when I'm in a restaurant, they ask the person next to me, like, what does she want? Or if I'm walking, they ask the person who is with me, say hi to Crystal, things like that. We're told as people with disabilities that, we can't make it, we can't do things on our own, we can't stand on our own, we're not independent, we have to be dependent on other people. That's speaking to that particular experience that I go through, as well as generally women who are told they can't do this kind of job because they're a woman, they can't do this kind of, they can't achieve this kind of dream because they're a woman. They can't, wear pants because they're a woman. Just from top to bottom, all the different things that we have been told historically until today, they all are culminated in those couple of lines.
We work twice as hard to get half as far. You didn't make me great, was the other way around.
I've said before, we work twice as hard to get half as far. But in addition to what I've said, women go through that a lot, you know, in this industry, in all industries really. Men love taking the credit for things. They want to make sure that it's their name stamped on something and not the actual person who put their sweat and you know, hard work, blood, tears, all that kind of stuff into whatever it is to make it happen, to make it a reality. And they always, well, in my experience, I've always been told, or it's been heavily implied rather, that the reason you're here is because of me. I gave you the opportunity, I gave you the space, I gave you the platform, I gave you the connections, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, but I showed up though. Yeah, you may have facilitated X, Y, and Z, but I showed up, and that's the reason why, you know, what happened. So it's something that I'm still trying to break through. It's like a glass ceiling that I'm trying to like break through, but I believe, and also through the report that was launched at the conference in Diani, the Agnes Trop conference, it was a massive sort of like theme throughout the report that, yeah, men, the managers, you know, of the athletes, the entourage that surround the athletes always feel like, yeah, we're making this woman who she is. We made her great, but actually it's my effort. It's my talent. It's my anointing, you know, it's my gift from God that has actually made me great. It's not you.
Tata.